And we are back, everybody, for Game 5. We're going the whole distance. Tim, we've been on with this is our third analyst desk. We've been on together this week. Every single one has gone the distance. Joshi's falling apart right now.
It's
a
party.
long day.
We're here all day. I can't believe that we just got a repeat of Game 1 and 3, and then we just got another repeat of Games 2 and 4. It's just like the script is like writing itself. We need a little bit of more imagination from our script writers at this point, you guys.
Yeah, when's Team Liquid going to get the lead early game? I think that's got to be the twist, the M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end, right?
I don't know if they want that, because I'm pretty sure if Team Liquid get the lead early, then the 100 Thieves are going to win the series, no?
Ooh, that might be the full twist.
Okay.
It's just a mirror of the first act.
Yeah, Team Liquid finally get that early lead. They win every single lane, but then 100 Thieves are the one that have the team fighting composition. But, I mean, on that point, it did feel like 100 Thieves Academy this time around. Yes, I mean, we're joking around. It's kind of the similar of what happened in game number 2, where they just were controlling the early game. They had that priority around pretty much all their lanes, save topside, which was going a little rough, but they had the team fight this time around. Team Liquid, they didn't have the Nocturne. They didn't have this big group up and just fight them for objectives kind of composition. So Joshi, when we're looking at the way that 100 Thieves Academy were able to win this time around, what do you think was the big difference maker compared to the other 2 games where they got early gold leads?
I mean, you've already touched on it, right? They've been doing such a good job at preying on the fact that Team Liquid aren't respecting where Kenvi can be. Kenvi is everywhere. Kenvi can be anywhere he wants, right? It's kind of like the whole Viego lore. He just like pops up wherever he feels like, and this time he's just going to kill you. He does this over and over and over again. It's an absolutely crazy party for him everywhere he goes, but this time they have the team fight tools, and they're actually able to win despite being the ones that take the first dragon.
Exactly, and Team Liquid Academy were on the back foot from kind of what felt like the beginning. I mean, we had this crazy skirmish to start things off where it was really tough to like definitively say who came out ahead here. So Tim, as we're looking kind of through the replays and we'll relive the game itself, let's start, I guess, thinking about it from the Team Liquid Academy side. You know, what do you think was the big difference maker as to why they weren't able to bring it back this time?
I mean, I think Josie touched on it with the comps, right? Like, I think Yon is good at Ashe, and Xin Zhao is a good pick, and, you know, the Gangplank is good for this, but they don't have the one big, like, the Azir carry or something like that that can really punish and clean up these late-game team fights. They had the Ayla on the rel for the engage. They go for finding catches on stuff, but they can't really follow up those engages in ways that are actually going to mop up the fight. Even if they reach the Aphelios, it's hard for them to get in there with any follow-up. And then you've got an Aatrox on the other side this time, Tenacity, saying anything you can do, I can do better, and trying to have his best Aatrox game. And, you know, just compositionally, Team Liquid did not have the comeback tools. And then you had the same kind of Lee Sin gameplay coming out of Kenvi that he's had 3 games in a row now, doing the same thing each time, getting a lot of skirmishes and fights and ganking all over the place. And Team Liquid did, in a couple cases, punish some of those extensions when 100 Thieves were kind of like attacked a side lane a little too far up without a full map posture to kind of justify it, and did get hurt for that. But there wasn't enough of that to slow down the advantage 100 Thieves had, which they just really blew open in the mid game.
And I'll be honest, guys, like, Team Liquid, I predicted at the beginning of the game, I know you can't see it, but you'll see it in a sec, like, I'm wearing your shirt, right? Like, this is full-on bias at this point. You can't keep picking Harry's LeBlanc into this Rise, man. Ryoma has his number. It's not close.
Yeah.
It hasn't been close. And there are simple things that you can do, right? It's kind of baffling to me that they are having the exact same situation that they're opting into. It didn't work the first time, it hasn't worked this time, but it also feels like something that should be kind of predictable at this point, right?
A little bit. And one of the most predictable parts that I was looking at was Team Liquid picking the Nocturne just because of how strong it has been so far in the series. No priority on it this time around. Maybe it was just because they weren't able to get, you know, lanes that they wanted. They opted into the Gangplank this time around, trying to take that away from Tenacity. But I mean, we to see what happened because of that. Yes, decent lane start, but could not close it out once the team fight started rolling around. And this just felt like a snowball that 100 Thieves had the comp to actually work with. And like that play right there was the one time that maybe Team Liquid could have come back, but it's just so hard from this point of the game with what they had drafted for themselves. Yeah.
Look at that Luger damage. Like, oh, Luger was actually really huge this game. I think that early skirmish was like, in the river, it ended up being, I think, a 4v3 or 4v4, and Luger got a couple kills, and from there, he's blowing people up all over the place. I was a little worried compositionally that the Aphelios, when I saw it, I'm like, oh, there's not a whole lot of necessarily protection for him, but there were so many other threats, and Team Liquid had so few tools to deal with him that the Aphelios was able to play pretty safely and just deal so much damage. Luger carried that really hard.
Was really impressed with him the entire time, but I also just feel like in general he's been set up so much for success throughout all of these games. Every single time he's been getting a strong champion. It's really hard to shut him down, and just in general it feels like Golden Glue is doing a fantastic job with his team coming up with strong drafts every single time. As we pointed out, they've been having a decent lead in the game. The only question is whether or not they can convert it. So are they going to have another party with 100 Thieves getting the lead? Are we going to get another repeat of games 1 and 3 where they have a big lead and then Team Liquid get to jam them later on in the game and come with this big comeback? Let's hope so. Let's go.
I mean, I want blood. I want it to be an exciting one no matter what. I hope to go into this game 5 we don't see passive gameplay, because we're ready for pick and ban here for this game 5. The winner will go on to Academy Finals, the World's Academy Finals, up against Cloud9 Academy. Loser will end their season here in the Academy postseason. Have to start looking at Proving Grounds coming up after this. So Deserix, Crumbs, let's see who can take it. Take it away.
Ban Lee Sin.
Welcome back for potentially the last time here. Actually, the last time. This is game number 5. We have no more games after this. All or nothing for both of these squads. Team Liquid Academy, 100 Thieves Academy. We keep talking about it. 100 Thieves has been the more aggressive team. One of the things that stood out to me that Magic had said, I think he said it best, is TL didn't have any comeback tools in that last game.
Yeah, it's really important to have those. And the comeback tools are usually attributed to engaged champions, a lot of crowd control, a lot of tankiness, and DPS. And I think the Ashe isn't really that engaged champion. She's more about getting ahead early and snowballing through the vision that you can provide to your jungler. So they all end on an early game strategy, which was so unlike the games that Team Liquid have won before. So it tells me that they were still experimenting in that game 4, while 100 Thieves, I think, have really figured out what it was that got them the win. So that's why I'm favoring 100 Thieves in this one thus far. I think the momentum is with them, but if TL can identify what it was that they have been struggling in the lanes, whether it's like a champion that they really are struggling to deal with, like the Lee Sin, or a Gangplank that has been critical for Tenacity and Jenkins sharing back and forth, and I think they can mitigate some of the early game that 100 Thieves has come up with. But they're just going to give Kenvi the run back, giving us the Lee, the Leona, and I think that Rise right now has to be a pick these teams have to think about.
Yeah, this is pretty much a game 3 run back right here. First picking the Varus and then leading into the Lee Sin and Leona pickup. And, you know, the thing we know about that game 3 was Team Liquid were able to make the comeback there. Nocturne's available. Just mentioning it, Team Liquid, you know. Armeo, you've been doing really well with it. Trundle as a champ, he does pretty decently on as well. It does provide... it's not going to be that carry jungler, but it is going to be something that that can open up these lanes as Braum gets locked in for Team Liquid Academy.
Okay, I'm liking this. So TL knows they are losing the early game, and so you take the Braum as a way to peel against 100 Thieves, and at the same time making it really difficult for you to die early. It's not an easy champion to dive. It will protect the Varus that has been getting targeted every time we've seen him, but at the same time, the danger here is that the Trundle and Braum aren't the most proactive of picks. They will be useful in the late game. When it comes to finding their own place and engaging on their own, these two are not it. So I think they're still at the mercy of 100 Thieves engaging and them react towards it. 100 Thieves sees this. They've identified, hey, you don't have a lot of engage. You know what's really good against not a lot of engage? Ezreal. Good luck trying to get onto him. So this is a response to the low CC composition that TL has already drafted, and Luger has been very impressive all year long. So putting him on a champion that is already in a favorable position due to the comp that TL has drafted is a good sign for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, you were talking about Luger being impressive. I mean, a lot of the marksmen in Academy agree with you, because oftentimes in interviews, the one ADC they talk about is Luger. Now, it's been a while since he has pulled out the Ezreal. The last time I've seen it was at the start of 11.15. It's the one time he's taken it. Otherwise, he tends to prefer to go after either the Varus, which has been a very popular pick, or even the mages in the bot lane. But having the Ezreal should be very interesting. As you said earlier, it does handle well with the engages that Team Liquid Academy are going to be looked to doing, as well as it can poke out quite a bit of damage. So as we look at the bans for this second phase, Aatrox, Ryze, LeBlanc, GP, all taken off the table. 100 Thieves, they go straight after the Azir.
I like this. I like the Azir from the point after game 4. They're just laning better. They can pick whatever they want, and I think they'll still come out ahead, and so they're banking on that. They're thinking that, well, as long as we ensure that we have a late game through our draft, and that we can play the same way that we've had before, and there shouldn't be a reason to think why they wouldn't, then they should be in a favorable position. There's going to be a lot of poke here. They have disengaged, and it's going to be tricky for Team Liquid to try to answer that with a team fight. So they lock in the Camille and come up with an alternative win con that isn't straight 5v5. They're going to bank on Jenkins' Camille to make sure that he can dominate the silence. But here's an angle, Deserex, that I hope Tenacity takes. Jax, right now. Play Jax, you beat the Camille lane. It's good into Trundle as well. The Varus or the Braum passive stacks won't trigger onto you, and it'll dominate the side lanes while guaranteeing a win in the team fights as well. You could go safe and play with a Renekton. The Jax can be quite volatile, and so they will do that. They'll ensure that the Renekton just holds down the Camille so that there won't be a side lane advantage that can be exploited, while at the same time offering a strong team fight.
Yeah, Crumbs, I would have loved to have seen the Jax get locked in for Tenacity. Every time I see Jax, it's always an exciting game. I think I saw it a lot picked by Tony Top when he went against Viper's Riven. Yeah. That was a fun matchup to see, but instead, I gotta put that to the wayside. Heartbroken, no Jax here today. It's gonna be Renekton, one of the OG lane bullies picked up by 100 Thieves. So now we're getting like kind of the grand scale of how this is going to play out. You do have some side lane control that you can get from 100 Thieves, not 100 Thieves, excuse me. Team Liquid Academy having the Camille, but you also have a very gnarly team fight that you can bust out thanks to having that Orianna. A lot of zone control that you can get with the Shockwave, with the ball being out there, with Braum being that unbreakable wall that you have to get through. There's a lot of tools this time for Team Liquid Academy. And whenever I say there's a lot of tools, things start to look a little bit better for them.
Yeah, the Team Liquid draft was really rounded out nicely because the Orianna and the Camille can offer a ball delivery tool. So now you actually have a strong way to engage that you're not relying on the bot lane entirely. The Varus chains with Camille, with the pillar. There's a lot of ways that you can actually find multiple members of Thieves and get the fight that you're looking for. So Team Liquid looking more like a draft from their early victories where they did have enough ways to engage had they fallen behind. This is looking like one of those matchups, but it again comes down to how big can the 100 Thieves laning advantage be, because every game they've smashed, their lead is incredible. The ones that were close, it usually stays within 2,000 to 3,000, and then Team Liquid gets to come back. So that's the measurement that I'm looking for in these games. Is 100 Thieves going to get 3,000 plus gold ahead early? If so, I think they're going to win. If TL hold on, Team Liquid's team fighting has been dominant mid to late.
Oh, I feel it right now. I feel the nerves. Game number 5 now underway. We have gone the distance. Winner take all. It's to the finals. Cloud9 is awaiting them. One thing we've always seen out of 100 Thieves is that early aggression, that early momentum that we see come out of Kenvi. He's gotten his Lee Sin so many times, and he looks so comfortable on this champion. Some of the flashy plays he's done, the one onto Harry's LeBlanc where he read where the clone was going to go, landed the Sonic Wave, some of the flashier kicks he's done onto Yan. Kenvi has been definitely in contention for MVP of this series.
He's been crazy. I think if Kenvi, to me, it would be between Kenvi and Ryoma here. Whether it's TL winning, I think it would go to Ayla. Ayla has been really impressive on this match, but I think that for Kenvi, despite him being mechanically so impressive and finding so many ganks, I still think that on a champion like Lee, you can always do a little bit more. And I'd want to see him avoid those deaths that come as a consequence of him being so strong. Whether it's saving another ward so that he can escape, which often is the case for how you can play Lee Sin, just continue to be aggressive, just make sure that you have ways to disengage, or just be a little more mindful of when the enemy team is looking to try to counter you.
Oh, Slice and Dice was used right here. Armeo's coming up for the gank. You've lost your tool to be able to give you some mobility to get away from this. This should be First Blood coming in right here, right now. Tenacity just too far forward. Not even going to burn Flash. It's too easy a kill.
Beautiful adaptation. Game 5, you come out with the cheese. You've been playing standard all game long. You've been losing early. 100 Thieves does not expect you to do anything. They expect you to be a fish dead in the water in the early game. What does Armeo do? Red to top, level 2. And that already has paid off, getting him a kill. But now Kenvy's looking to try to answer with a blue buff steal here of his own. Armeo, though, being so cautious about this. In fact, I think since he doesn't have Smite, Kenvy will get the steal.
He doesn't have Smite, and he's at a disadvantage when it comes to the level, so doesn't want to take this fight. Tenacity comes down just to make sure. Envy will be able to get the steal away, but I mean, the damage was done. You wanted Jenkins to get that early kill. You want to give him an early lead against this Renekton to get that side lane control going.
Yeah, and despite that lane kill, well, the Renekton still gets the TP and return to the lane and assist the jungler back. So Tenacity, yeah, skills the E, just trying to be aggressive, clear out the wave a little bit better than if he had his Ruthless Predator, and then the Trundle is there. There's just no way out of this one. No point in burning any flashes.
Yeah.
I like that move out of him. I think the one thing is, normally you would think, yeah, give the kill over to the Camille, that she wins a matchup against the Renekton, but she's going to always win against the Renekton as the game progresses if the Renekton stays even. And the sacrifice that Armeo made going for that route, I think, is more important. That gets something in return for it. So giving him the kill, I think, ends up being the right choice.
See Jenkins there, getting a little bit low, but not in too much danger. We'll take the recall now, has teleport to get back into lane. The wave is pushing towards his tower now that Tenacity is over in that area, so teleport going to be used, but Kenvy reads that, he understands it. Sets up for the gank over on the top side. And here we go.
Here we go.
Slice and Dice, I believe, was used right there. I'm waiting for the camera to head over towards the top side because I want to see the shenanigans over there. But Kenvy is just going to take the recall. I don't think they're going to go for the gank.
It's so tricky to gank this Camille because oh, she just used the E.
Oh,
She's
if
dead.
you see the hook shot, this is pretty much mirroring exactly what happened with that First Blood when Tenacity burnt the Slice and Dice. Now it's Jenkins burning the hook shot. Kenvy there to punish.
You just can't burn the hook shot. That is the most important ability that determines whether you get ganked or not. And he does it right in the face of Tenacity. He would have lost that trade no matter what. The wave was massive. And that's exactly when Kenvy strikes. You know, Kenvy was even recalling.
Wow.
He saw that the opportunity was gone, but Jenkins perhaps thought that the recall was completed, goes in, and gets dearly punished for it.
And Crumbs, Jenkins loses quite a bit off that. The wave crashed into the tower, so a lot of those minions are going to go missing for him. Rough spot to be in this early laning phase against the Renekton, but here comes Kenvy over to the bot lane, goes right after Yan. Yan getting punished, the flash forward, but Yan is able to flash over the wall. Sonic Wave, if it lands, very easy kill, waiting for the sidestep. He finds it! Yan with the BM on the way out, escapes with his life.
That's a really good dodge. Okay, Kenvy rarely is missing those cues, but that dodge was a work of art from the Varus because he passes into the brush, and the Lee's thinking, well, he's going to go into the brush to go into the turret. But the second he dips into the Fog of War, he returns back out, knowing that is when Kenvy is going to throw out the Sonic Wave and then catches the Lee by surprise. That was really nice.
Great way to stay alive over on that bot side. Not lose any of that farm, any of that power, any of that prowess Team Liquid need to be able to be competitive in this. Do you see a big roam coming out of Ayla? Was headed over towards that top side, trying to alleviate some pressure. Armeo's waiting in that tri-bush as well. Nasty's not going to take the bait, though. It's going to be the long haul for Ayla as he heads back towards the bot.
Yeah, he's not going to take it. Even though he is level 6, he knows that he can be fairly aggressive here as long as he can keep his Slice and Dice. And Camille is not level 6 either. And in fact, because of that early death and falling behind, that has been the level disadvantage. but also from falling behind, he's now having to go a defensive itemization. Going with the cloth armor to live, Yon is in trouble.
Ooh, a very vicious flash coming out of Poom, trying to take down Jan, but now might be caught out on his own. Meanwhile, over in the top side, Kenvi waiting to set up for this gank. Here comes the hook shot. It gets stunned right out of. Ultimatum just trying to find some way to get out of that, but there is no escape. Tenacity gets a kill on the top side thanks to Kenvi.
Every time Jenkins think there's an opportunity to fight Renekton, then Genvi is right there, just punishing this Camille matchup topside. They've identified that without the cannon, they can exploit this lane, and it has worked so well every single time. Team Liquid almost answered back a kill against Boom, but Ayla crucially ended up missing his Q. So the Leona was not slowed down under the turret, and they're not able to get a kill or even chunk her low enough to legitimately threaten a dive here.
And Team Liquid have to be careful. They can't stay here for too long. Kenvi's already coming back. Able to get that recall, get back towards the bot side, and make sure that his bot laner's not going to be any trouble. So Team Liquid do back out at the right time. You already saw that collapse coming in. They are going to be safe. Team Liquid really trying their hand to find some pressure on the map. Miscalculated, not really getting it in the way they want to. Armeo trying really hard with that back of the tower dive.
Without level 6 and no ignite, it's so tough here. This is the problem with these kinds of lanes. They're trying to go again, but there's just such a low chance of actually killing the enemy when your kill pressure is entirely dependent on them overextending against you. So 100 Thieves has done a fine job drafting this composition and playing to the side that is winning. They can continue to camp topside and know that Luger and Plume are so unlikely to be punished by the Trundle Braum Varus combination.
Kenvi's doing such a good job of reading Team Liquid in this early game. We already saw him reading over in the top lane. Jenkins, just like an open book. Now following Armeo where he goes from lane to lane. Followed him over towards the bot side just to make sure pressure was alleviated there. Now following him towards this Rift Herald. Armeo has the response, though, as he does get priority. Coming over from Jenkins, Tenacity hopping over the wall. The rest of the Team Liquid squad able to show up and make sure that this gets the Team Liquid, and they're going to be the ones to utilize this early game tool.
They won't fight it. They see the Braum in the mid lane through the wave. They know that the Leona was down there, so they accept that the Herald will go over to Team Liquid, and so far they know they can play around the top side still. Jenkins is continuing to be aggressive, and at this stage, Tenacity and Kenvi might actually have enough damage to just flat out dive him from 100 to 0, so they can continue to just forego the plays that involve the entire team and just keep it to laning and keep it to a 2v2 where they know they have the advantage.
No real dragon focus coming out of either squad. 10 minutes into the game so far, and Ocean Drake still sitting right there. Gold lead going slightly in favor of 100 Thieves as they've been slowly getting quite a bit of priority, really focusing down on this top side. Getting Tenacity ahead, making sure that Camille will not be that side lane threat that Camille's are oh so known for.
Oh, did the ward spot him? They're gonna dive him. I think the ward saw him.
Gonna set up for the dive now. Here we go, able to get the stun. Still waiting for the ultimatum to come out. It does go out, but it's not underneath the tower. Tenacity gets low, so does Jenkins. Jenkins has a bit more health to work with there. They're still going to try and sit up on this dive, and it's executed beautifully. 100 Thieves over on the top side. We talked about Tenacity. They look great when they're able to style it that way.
We were just talking about how they can dive him 100 to 0. A TP, though, this is a good answer, but here's the downside. It's Tenacity only. He doesn't have the bounty, but a play in the bot side.
Yeah, TP match for TP, but it's going to be Ryoma headed over towards the bot lane. And just like that, Jan gets dismantled. Harry so quick with the Emperor's Divide, so quick with the play. Going to be better for 100 Thieves over on the bot side.
Both mids TP to the side lane, then make plays, and now we got a race for plates. Lee is trying to defend against the Trundle and the Orianna, but he's got to be careful. He really can't commit too much damage, or else he will get killed by those two. Trying to go. Oh, this is risky.
Oh, there is the slow from the winner's bite. Meanwhile, over in the top side, Shelly is used. Out comes the shockwave. Kenvi will fall. Tenacity trying to bring the retaliation there, but he has a lot of health he needs to work with. Gets a good chunk onto Armeo. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Jenkins continues to fight. Now chasing down Poom. Ayla trying to feed this one over. Jenkins will be able to score it. Team Liquid on the top side. Back and forth these fights are going, but one more plate remains. One more tick of health remains. Armeo will get the kill and will not get turret aggro. We'll be able to survive this tower. Not long for this world, but it's going to be Team Liquid who get a kill lead.
Team Liquid just got so much from 100 Thieves, and none of that should have happened. They got so greedy for that. The Lee Sin, thinking that he could defend it. I was just saying, you can't defend against these two because Trundle still has Subjugate. They can tower dive. The Orianna has been just waiting for an opportunity to take a fight here. She has been just farming. She wants to join a fight. Lee Sin extends, dies for it, and then Renekton tries to go for the same thing, but Renekton isn't strong. We have been looking at Renekton and Lee team up all game long, but he has none of the kills.
Ooh, and here we go with the invade. Armeo getting attacked. Kenvi and Poom really trying to chase him down, but there's the chain of corruptions going right after Kenvi. Armeo will not fall. Jan will score the kill.
That is massive. That Trundle had a bounty. That could have been a kill, but he didn't have the Subjugate, so they felt like that was the avenue. But he was tanky enough, bought enough time for the rest of the team to collapse, for the chains of corruption to latch onto the Lee. And that's another kill going down early to the Lee Sin. He is now completely outscaled. This Trundle has surpassed him. He is better itemized now with the Divine Thunder. It's going to make him so tanky. It's going to deal with the tanks of Leona, Lee, and the Renekton as well. And with an Orianna at his back, he's guaranteed to live through these fights and make the tanks of 100 Thieves squishy enough to get one shot by the Varus and Orianna.
And no surprise that Armeo would be doing well in this champion. It's a champion he plays a lot. In that final week of play that we saw in Academy, three of those 4 games was played on Trundle, and that was a 4-0 week to close out, including wins against FlyQuest and Immortals. Armeo feels really confident on this champion, and it's showing as he goes 3-0-2, 14 minutes into this game.
Trundle has been really surging in priority too. Cloud9 yesterday in their win really valued the Trundle. Schernfire looked good on it. It's a great answer to a lot of the tanks that are being played, and even though he can't quite farm as quickly as other champions, he can team fight, and he can really team fight, and he can skirmish quite well as well. So if you play more around that and you try to play an action-packed game that isn't just static farming from both junglers, Trundle's going to look much better than I think people give him credit for.
So now we have an early game with Team Liquid having the better of the driver's seat. Can they keep up this momentum? If this heads towards the mid-game, do we just get a Team Liquid win? We haven't seen 100 Thieves in this series really play from behind unless it's in the late game.
Yeah, we really haven't. And when they were playing from behind in the late game, they did lose. So this is looking like a really strong showing for TL. They're trying to go into Tenacity. Jenkins has ultimate, but Armeo can chase him down. Look at how fast this troll is.
You don't escape the pillar. Here comes Armeo, a couple of whacks. He's going clubbing on the Gator right now. One more hit should do it. Armeo grabs the kill, but Kenvi has just shown up. He burnt Safeguard to get in that. He has no escape tools. I'm not sure why he went for that, but he is punished as Armeo gets the double kill. Now Poom is caught out. 3 down for 100 Thieves Academy. This feels like an outright communication breakdown.
It's falling apart for 100 Thieves. They continue to just throw bodies, but they are all dying at the hands of Team Liquid. They're so much stronger in this top side of the map. They already had the Braum there, and going in to try to save Tenacity is so costly. 2 kills, Herald, and nothing traded in return. Team Liquid is running away with this one, and a Trundle that is this fed is just so difficult to deal with. The advantage topside entirely undone. Renekton and Lee Sin are early game champions. If they fall behind, there is no coming back.
Oh, look at it. Like, we were expecting the kill here. He burnt Flash, he burnt Slice and Dice. There's no escape. There is no way to save Tenacity in this scenario. Kenvi safeguards in. Why Did he think he could get the kill on Jenkins? That's the only thing I could really assume here, but he just led himself to his own demise, his own death, and so much tempo was fed over to Team Liquid because of this.
I think must have forgotten that the ultimatum had yet to be used. Maybe that Camille did not have enough mana and thought there was an avenue in there, but that is just desperation. That is 100 Thieves just not recognizing that Renekton was dead. There was no way out. Trying to kill Ayla, but he has flash. Does get a good kick flash. Nice stop flash though. He should live.
Ooh, he does live. Jan was there to provide a body for him to hop to. So Ayla stays alive, and that's Dragon's Rage going to be burnt out. Not too much else after that, though, so it's not the biggest investment to go for that kill, but kind of showing you that Team Liquid, they're not just going to fall back on these engagements anymore and on these picks anymore.
Yeah, they are just looking now to press their advantage to do what 100 Thieves had done when they got the gold lead, and all of it revolves around Armeo right now. Just following the Trundle along should be enough for 100 Thieves to have to fall back. They just can't deal with him, and so anywhere that there is a Trundle, that is where Team Liquid have the ability to pressure the map. As you can see how they can easily walk into the river, just place down a Rift Herald wherever they want, and the Renekton has to back away so critically. Had all the action top, funneled gold into Kenvi and not Tenacity, so that he still ends up being at a disadvantage in the lane, and that the Lee, with the gold lead dying those multiple times, now doesn't have the gold necessary to stay ahead and be as relevant as we had seen Kenvi in this past few games. So that puts the entire top side in the favor of Team Liquid. Harry, who now got 2 kills and farmed up, he's very strong, and the danger of the Orianna being powerful is that the shielding will mitigate the poke from the Azir and the Ezreal. That means that this comp now has to go head-to-head in a team fight, and they're behind in gold, and their ability to poke you down and get a health lead before the fight happens is non-existent.
So many sources of power for Team Liquid Academy. And one of the highlights of that has been Armeo. You know, this is one of the veteran voices on Team Liquid Academy. He was 2018 the starting jungler for TSM. Now, since being on Team Liquid, he's slowly showing that he's been one of the more dependable players to have on an org. You know, he did have that flex around with Team Liquid and Team Liquid Academy, and he did it well as Harry now gets caught out. Shockwave does not find its mark! Whoa. Harry gets the outplay in the face of Ryoma! Here comes the cavalry, though. Kenvi doesn't find the Sonic Wave. Kenvi soon to fall! Double kill for Harry! What a beautiful outplay! Tenacity shows up to the fight, but in his face is gonna be Jenkins. 100 Thieves have split at the seams. Team Liquid are looking to go to the finals.
Team Liquid wants to take on Cloud9. Team Liquid never said die this entire series. It didn't matter that they lost the early game 4 games in a row. When it comes down to the match point, to the game where everything is decided, they are looking revitalized, outplaying 100 Thieves where it counts. The 3v3 again goes in their favor, and if it wasn't enough insult to injury, they're now gonna lose the 2v2.
Now they're gonna lose. Poom gets caught out. There comes the ultimate. Glacial Fissure goes to the side, but it is not required. A kill onto Poom and more control for Team Liquid as we hit the 20-minute mark. 5K separating these teams. Team Liquid looking so good.
Beautiful outplay here from Harry. Gets so much damage done onto him initially, but kites back away from the soldiers and then flashing away with another QWE, and then Kenvi trying to re-engage, but unfortunately he doesn't have vision, so he doesn't know where the Orianna is, doesn't land the Q. Such a difference from game 2 Lee Sin from Kenvi to game 5. It's just been too much to ask for Lee Sin to be this consistent, and now Tenacity just doesn't have a way to get back into this. He gets taken down with a great response from Jenkins, who despite being camped, is getting the last laugh from the top laners.
I mean, and looking at the opposite side of the rift of Harry is Ryoma, right? This is a player who is an OPL vet going against an OPL vet as well. Ryoma's been styling on Harry through most of these series, so it must feel so good for Harry to be able to get some vengeance, but this is not going to feel good nonetheless. Tenacity getting on top of Harry, able to score that kill onto the mid laner. Piercing arrow comes out, but Armeo is going to grab the kill with one more chomp. Now comes the chain of corruptions and the lockdown onto Poom. Ayla able to block the true shot barrage, but the re-engage from Team Liquid is too damn strong. Jenkins joins the fray, gets kicked away. Dragon's Rage will be able to provide some defense, but chasing down Luger is going to be Armeo, and that is a very sticky troll that you have to try and get off you. Armeo is fed 605, finds kill number 7, destroying 100 Thieves Academy. Now Kenvi try to find whatever way out of this terrible situation he can get. Will get a Sonic Wave onto the creeps, but Team Liquid domination in this game number 5.
This Trundle is ridiculous. He is running Summoner's Rift. And what's crazy is that we started that coming off a replay where Harry once again killed Ryoma. So the Orianna is outplaying the Azir the whole time. They're trying to go after the Lee Sin, comboed away. He's gonna go down. Ooh, barely missed the Q. I think he lives.
He's burning. He's burning. Oh, he will live with a slither of health. 1k left on Baron, and Team Liquid get it. At this point, it's just procedure. They're looking for those final steps before they start breaking the base of 100 Thieves and booking that ticket to the finals.
The base would be not the first thing that is broken this game, because it feels like 100 Thieves' morale has been decimated by TL. Here comes another kill, another attempt, futile at that, from 100 Thieves to try to play into the top side. You just can't make it work. Armeo is too strong. 4 times they've tried to go against this Trundle, and it has never worked. From minute 1, the game plan to camp top has paid off, and 100 Thieves has been unable to answer.
Luger, that is the wrong direction to Arcane Shift. Trying to get away from Team Liquid Academy, walks into the wandering arms of Jenkins. Now Team Liquid, with 2 members down of 100 Thieves, set their sights onto the base of 100 Thieves with this Baron empowered push.
I'm not even sure if 100 Thieves is going to be coordinated enough to put up a defense in this. This could be Team Liquid's game-ending push. They have everybody here, but they just have to recognize that they can't not fight.
All right, let's see if they can close this one out. Here comes the ultimatum, going after Tenacity. Tenacity gets chunked, able to get a lot of regeneration going back for him. So they turn their sights onto Ryoma, take him down, and take down the Gator as well. And this is it right here. Team Liquid are in the base. I stated earlier that this is the best iteration that I've seen of Team Liquid Academy. You want the cold, hard truth? Look at them right now. This is the proof you need. Team Liquid march into the base of 100 Thieves and destroy them. A TLA journeyman, an LCS veteran, 2 OPL vets, and a promising young ADC developing into a star. They are hungry, and that hunger will, for the first time in this org's history, get Team Liquid Academy to the LCS Academy Finals.
Team Liquid most definitely proved to be the superior team on this day. Their mentality to dredge through so many early games where they were behind, to come back and still find creative avenues to fight against 100 Thieves, and then in the contrast when we saw 100 Thieves fall apart at Team Liquid still fighting. It's like one of those boxing scenes where the guy continues to take it on the chin, but it's the one doing the strikes that just cannot believe that this man is not buckling. That was Team Liquid today. They took it from 100 Thieves and gave it back in kind. This team was so impressive today. The early game could be worked on, but boy, did their mid to late game and their creativity at the very end flourish and allow them to decimate 100.
Yeah, I felt that. That was the Nate Diaz chin right there. You just can't knock him out. Team Liquid held on for life. In that game number 5, they did what 100 Thieves have done to them twice. Even though all the camping, all the attention was put towards the top side to take down Jenkins, read him like a book, get 2 early kills, they could not stop the momentum of Armeo, who was all over this map on that Trundle, had an insane KDA. By the end of that, I think he had a perfect KDA of like 8 kills, 8 assists. He looked spectacular in this, and Team Liquid, congratulations, man. As I said, this is the first time in the org's history that they've made it to the Academy Finals, and this roster is looking pretty spot on.
TLC9 Finals. What a banger we've got coming up. And what I really like about this too is that Team Liquid struggled in the spring split. They had a sus proven grounds run. For how good they were in the regular split, it was surprising to see them falter. But in summer, they came back with a bang. They had the second seed. They looked like they were going to be one of the top teams. Had a tough one against Team Liquid, against 100 Thieves, but the learnings from game to game, the adaptations, I think were effective. And most of all, they kept their head cool. And in a long series where it's back and forth, maintaining your composure is often more important than just keeping your fingers warm. And that's what Team Liquid did, and that was enough to take the win.
These Academy playoffs, man, they are slobber knockers. This has been a great year of Academy. I've been so happy to cover it, and I want to thank you, Crumbs, being able to cast alongside you. This was an amazing series to witness unfold, but that's going to do it here for the casting desk. We're going to throw it over to the analyst desk to break this game down after what was a hell of a 5-game series between Team Liquid Academy and 100 Thieves Academy.
What a way to end it. Great job, Destrix and Crumbs with Team Liquid Academy. They made it. Joshi, you got the full shirt on now, right? You just throwing the tie away. Absolutely. Yeah, you did. And Tim, I mean, I can't believe you. The one member that was predicting 100 Thieves, and in the final game, game 5 here, they got the lead. Team Liquid Academy, they finally did it. They got an early game lead, and wouldn't you know, they were able to actually close it out. So, Tim, I'm going to give it to you first. I'm hearing that we might have some audio issues on Joshi's end. Hopefully we can sort those out here in the meantime. But, man, what a way for Team Liquid Academy to do it. A strange start to the game. When we were looking at that jungle pathing, we weren't all convinced that it was the most effective, but hey, they were able to get a lead and actually make it work.
I mean, it was really interesting, right? So Armeo went for this path, this really unusual path. He cleared his own red buff on the blue side. He runs all the way to the top lane to gank at a timer where no top laner is ever going to expect a level 2 gank there, like from that spot. And Kenvi did his best to respond to it, right? He was clearing his own bot side. He ran all the way up to invade the top side. And he did a really great job, I think, finding that vulnerability of the level advantage and attacking it and the TB back to lane from Tenacity. He still had Prio. Ryomo was pushing the mid lane. So they really attacked the best they could, but it didn't pan out in the same kind of advantage that you would have expected, I think, for the amount of effort they put into attacking that unusual level 2 gank. That really, the rest of the game played out, and Armeo, I won't say recovered because it didn't really set him that far behind, but he took that unusual first path and played it out into a really great game overall.
I think that the jungle passing from Armeo and then the decision making from Jenkins made us a little concerned for Team Liquid Academy to begin, because it did feel like 100 Thieves were getting some early plays done, specifically on the top side. Joshi, you were freaking out, screaming, why is Jenkins going for this kind of play here when you're not even going to win that trade to begin with? But, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it still equalizes, but questionable plays early on.
Yeah. But, I mean,
sounded like we still
Joshi
don't have
really
your audio
wants to
coming in here,
say-
Joshi.
Joshi really wants
One
to say
day
he
you'll
wasn't
get
convinced
appointed.
by these top plays. But yeah, you just relayed into my ear, Joshi. I'll let everybody know what you think. But yeah, I mean, really, Team Liquid did recover from being under so much pressure, and they really played it out. I think this was also, I really want to shout out Harry. I think it was his best game of the series by far.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and this was obviously the most important time to have his best game of the series. So yeah, we really want to shout out him for his big performance.
Okay,
Especially because even the casters were saying, I think you're back, Josh. Even the casters were saying that Ryoma had just been getting the better of Harry in pretty much every game in this 5-game series. So stepping up when it matters most, big stuff for Harry. So Joshi, are you back?
I'm
Can
back.
we hear you now?
I think. Saykin, can we confirm? I think we can hear. I know. All right, good.
All right.
I'm not sure the audience got to hear my woo at the whole beginning. I was pretty excited though. But it is the situation where just Armeo had such a good game, and honestly, my favorite part was some of these extended chases where it's just like, yo, we're going. We're go. Oh, you thought we were done? No, we're still going.
We're going.
So,
Full send.
are you guys gonna follow me? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm still going. He just like runs Ezreal down, and we had a brief moment, right, where I'm gonna spoil a little bit from what the manager said because we could kind of hear them. And he's like, "Yo, Armeo, get over here. You got to tell them what a good pick Trundle is." And we got to see just that over this entire game.
Yeah, they went back to comfort there. It kind of felt like Under Thieves Academy, they were just constantly throwing their bodies at Team Liquid Academy the entire time. And I said I wanted a bloody game. We definitely got it. Not the way I expected it to be. Harry's play here, just a thing of beauty. Gets the outplay. And just to bring us back to the Harry point, because I think that we didn't have a lot of opportunities to really hype him up, gets the double kill on top of it and still survives throughout the entire play. Like, my goodness, 100 Thieves just kept trying to do stuff. And Tim, at some point, you got to identify, okay, maybe we should slow it down and not just keep going, pedal to the metal the entire game.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you have the Azir and the Ezreal and you can play from so much range, you can scale up, you have tools for the fights later, you do have to, at a certain point, say, okay, like Kenvi and Poom were just looking for a play everywhere as often as they could. We're going to go for a play. We're going to try to force something. And, it just didn't, it didn't seem like they were thinking through the necessity of some of those plays or the map setup of some of those plays. And they were just being a little bit mindlessly aggressive, which when I'm looking at Academy play, I always say I prefer aggression over passivity from these players.
Yeah.
And I want to see that they're testing themselves and like being confident. This game, it did bite them a little bit and they came out on the wrong end of that aggression, but it's gonna feel rough. They're not gonna be in the Academy finals. They will have a chance at Proving Grounds to get some revenge potentially, and work on some of these things that held them back in the series, such as being on red side for 3 of the games. And so maybe in Proving Grounds they can fix that.
Yeah, I do want to say, as you already brought up during our discussions, Tim, this is a team. 100 Thieves are still one of our teams that have the most just raw talent on it in terms of all of our Academy rosters. They are good players, and the reason why they fell behind this game was also the reason why they found leads in all 4 games prior. They were willing to go for all these plays. They were willing to get these parties started, but this time Team Liquid had the Trundle. They had the good pick, right? And Trundle is a fairly simple champion that just bops you over the head, and all of your cool plays don't really matter, and I'm a bigger ball of stats. So Armeo did the biggest brain play he could and just picked himself a good champion.
Picked himself a comfort champion as well, because as we had been highlighting, Armeo's played a lot of the Trundle throughout his career, but also even in the summer here, whether he was on the LCS main stage when he was subbing in for Santorin, or still here in Academy in the last couple of weeks. And I'm hearing, Joshi and Tim, that we do actually get a chance to speak to him ourselves, as Armeo will be our post-game interview. So let's jump into the Verizon post-game interview. Armeo, congratulations on the victory, going to the finals right off the bat. Yeah, I'm echoing your manager's sentiment. Tell me about how good a pick Trundle is.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. I like it on this patch into certain like comps. It looked pretty good from like the 1-2. Good value against Leona, Aftershock, and good matchup into Lee. It was a very interesting game, interesting series. So I somehow ended up with like 9 kills on Trundle, but the champ actually snowballs surprisingly fast. It's with like all the buffs it's received, it becomes like literally a carry when you're ahead. So it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, you kind of set yourself up for success at the very beginning with a very unique jungle pathing, going red straight up to the top side. So just walk me through the decision making from your end and the communication from the team for that kind of play, because we don't see those that often.
Yeah, I mean, Trundle is a champion that can level 2 gank without losing too much. I just lost blue, which is completely fine. Also, our top jungle is a lot weaker early. Like the Camille and the Renekton is not exactly the ideal early game pick. So, and the Trundle versus the Lee, like it doesn't do that well early. So like our 2v2 is really bad. So like the only thing I can do topside to help my Ignite Camille, which is really susceptible to dying, is literally just level 2 ganking basically. So yeah, I mean we've done it before. So we were like, I was like, this is a good game for it. And I just dropped blue for it, which is not a big deal. I'm playing Trundle. So yeah.
All right. Well, I want to bring us now to kind of think about where Team Liquid Academy is currently, because you are still here in Academy playoffs, you have Proving Grounds coming up in the future, and you as a player have been shuffled around, subbing in for the LCS core team. Anori came in and helped out the Academy team. Now you're back in on the Academy team for playoffs here. Kind of just give me a recap of what the season's been like for you. I just want to like vibe check Armeo. How are you feeling here personally as a player?
It's been very unique. Definitely disappointed the LCS didn't go as well as I was hoping. Had some okay games, some good games, but a lot of not so great games. But it was still like a really fun experience. Getting a lot more games at LCS than like, because obviously I subbed in before, but this was a lot of regular season games. I definitely took a lot. Like, there's a lot to learn. There's like getting to play like LCS at like a high level again. It's like there's so many things, so it's hard to like put it all together to, like, for these kind of matches like fast, because I obviously had to jump in and practice with the team for only like a couple weeks. Yeah, overall it's been like an up and down season. So I'm really happy that we won this match. It's been pretty interesting, but it's overall been fun.
All right. Well, going into the future now, you still have another match ahead of you. You have the finals up against Cloud9 Academy. Now, this is the first time Team Liquid Academy have made it to the finals. First couple of splits from the Academy seasons, notorious for getting into that third, fourth place, but then never quite making the final run here. So first off, just kind of how are you feeling going into that finals? What do you think your matchup's going to be like against Cloud9, and specifically Surnefire, your opposition in the jungle, who did have a stint on Team Liquid back in the day in 2019, 2020. So kind of a Team Liquid veteran in his own right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the matchup will be pretty fun. Honestly, I was more worried about this match against 100 Thieves Academy. So for me, I'm pretty confident. I think we're all pretty confident going into the finals. Yeah, I think we'll win.
All right, are you confident enough to give a series score? Is it going to be 3-2, 3-1, 3-0?
I mean, we'll for sure end one game, so I'll say 3-1.
All right, 3-1. Yeah, give room for the end. I like that. I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much, Armeo. Congratulations on the victory, and best of luck preparing for your finals next Thursday against Cloud9 Academy.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, you always got to give one for the end, especially in Academy, because, it's the respectable thing to do, right? So thank you so much, Armeo, for coming in and having the post-game interview with us. Joshi, I'm going to give it to you first, and then Tim, as we're wrapping up our final thoughts on the day. Finals, TLA versus Cloud9. What you think about it?
Oh man, it's been a super fun series between all of the games that we've been able to see between both teams, right? Cloud9 struggled, and after having an opportunity to talk with Westeros a while back, he's saying his big thing he needs to do is make sure all of his players can play on the same page. And I think it's also going to be a big stylistic mismatch for Team Liquid, right? A lot of the Cloud9 members are individually strong, and while I wouldn't necessarily call them raw talent like we see on 100 Thieves because they've had more time to refine, they should be able to get an early game lead up against Team Liquid, and with their veterancy, can hopefully push through towards the end. So even though I got the Team Liquid on right now, I have to say this might be their toughest matchup that they have to face.
Cloud9 Academy, historically, one of the top teams in Academy. But Tim, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think what I'm really excited about for that matchup is the support duel. And I think, yesterday the Cloud9 Academy, FlyQuest Academy series was really back and forth between the supports, between Dreams and Isles both having big games. And having Isles and Ayla go up against each other now, the Oceanic supports, both of whom I honestly consider to be LCS level. And seeing what they can do and really lead their team, how much they play into the mid lane, how much they just move around the map, or just go for straight up 2v2 laning. I'm really excited to see both of those guys.
I'm excited as well. That bot lane matchup will be something that we got to highlight going into that day. So let's take one last look at the bracket. Bid farewell to the teams that did not make it. Immortals and Evil Geniuses getting knocked out early on. And now FlyQuest and 100 Thieves. Both series go into the full 5 games. But there you have it, everybody. Our finals set for next week, Thursday. Cloud9 versus Team Liquid. Perennially one of the top Academy, if not the top Academy team consistently throughout the years. Cloud9 known for having fantastic scouting and funneling talent into the LCS itself, up against Team Liquid. Now their first time making it to that finals. Gonna be exciting. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into the show. Thank you, Joshi and Tim, for being on the desk with me. You're both fantastic. Joshi, got anything to plug before we wrap up the show? Anything you're working on? Anything people should be checking out?
Nah, I mean, we got Proving Grounds coming up. Remember, we got all these players coming through to showcase what they got, try and prove that if they aren't an academy yet, they belong there. And if they're already an academy, that they should be looked at for the LCS. So don't worry, we're going to get to see all these teams again, even the ones that have been knocked out, and we will all be there to bring you all of that action.
And make sure that you're also following him on Twitter. You can see his tag right down there. He's the guy that makes those cool little graphics of the map, and he draws around them like big circles of timings and tempo and talks about all that fun stuff. So I've learned a lot from you, Joshi. Tim, what about you? What's going on in your life? What do you got to plug?
Well, I do have to say that the red side curse was pretty terrible today, and I feel bad, and I apologize to 100 Thieves Academy for the red shirt and tie. Maybe I'll bring out the blue next week, and we'll see what happens.
Well, but both teams are blue. We're not going to learn anything.
But the map side was really the real issue as well. Like, it was both the red team and the red side that lost today.
True.
For science, I got to test it out.
You'll also have to get a Cloud9 jersey up behind you, too, because I think that it's unfair. They had the Team Liquid buff the entire time. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in, watching the show. It's been a fantastic time bringing you all these player stories throughout the season. Thank you to the players for putting on the performance. We would not even have this broadcast if it weren't for them and their aspirations to make it as professional esport athletes. And thank you, of course, to everybody in production behind the scenes for putting this whole thing together. We'll see you next week, Thursday, for the finals, Cloud9 Academy versus Team Liquid Academy. You won't want to miss it.